how are you doing? This is Pastor Cheryl. I was busy today, so now I'm filming at nighttime. And I still prefer being outside. And I think you like that too. You like to look at the trees. We are doing this section today. And it's on divorce. Matthew 5:31 through 32. And here's Matthew again. Matthew. Then Mark and Luke. I will write it down for you. Okay? Mark 10:11 through 12. Luke 16:18. You notice all the blank spots? This is Matthew. Okay, this is Matthew again. Mark and Luke. Look at all these gaps. You know? And Matthew here, with the help of Q, put it all together. But so anyway, this is very culturally biased, and I find, and you'll see the sexism. Back then, they had some very sexist beliefs about men and women and their roles in society, and today we don't have any of that, or much of that left. And shame on you if you still think like this. But anyway, Matthew 5:31 through 32. We're up to that now with it's kind of a Bible study. It was also said, whoever divorces his wife, let him give her a certificate of divorce. But if I say to you that everyone who divorces his wife except on the grounds of unchastity. And then here, you notice there's kind of a gap going straight across here from when he says unchastity or impurity or, I guess, fooling around. And here, the next one in Matthew says, and marries another. And Mark says also, and marries another. And Luke says, and marries another. Okay. And it goes unchastity. In other words, she's fooling around or something. And then marries somebody else. Commits adultery. The other ones fill in with that. But here it says, makes her an adulteress. And whoever marries a divorced woman commits adultery. Today we don't really do that. We see a lot of people that get divorced and remarried. They get married a little too young, and then our cultural values are changing. Our cultural values are changing where it's shifting from the man being a complete control of the household to the man and woman making mutual decisions about their family and discussing things and doing it together, which is how it should be. They should discuss things and do things together. That's called a marriage. That's why you get married. You're doing things together. A number of couples have come to me and wanted to get married. And these are couples that, are on disability. And they decide not to get married because of finances. Because the government will cut off a third of their income. And with the prices of groceries and everything that has gone so sky high, they couldn't possibly make ends meet with that third of their income gone. And a lot of these are older people. I put a question mark on it. If I watch them fight, I'm like, no, this is not a marriage. They sit there and fight and bicker back and forth, and that's not a marriage. And then I feel sorry for the hen-picked man. And this one guy was putting up with an awful lot from this woman that I just thought she was just out of her mind. But anyway, so And so the rest of this all says, almost word for word, identical between Mark and Luke. Identical here. It says, and he who marries a woman divorces from her husband commits adultery. In other words, whoever you got married to when you were young, if you get divorced, then you both commit adultery if you marry someone else. Today, we see couples getting married a number of times. Doesn't work out, get married again. Today we know that there are some people that just don't get along well with others, and some people have mental illnesses. They're difficult to get along with. Manic depressive illness, mood swings. Well, they're hard to get along with. They make great friends. They're wonderful friends. They're warm and loving people. They're very helpful. It's just living with them is a problem. And so, if you find somebody and you pick someone out, find someone who's stable, that you could live with. You have to be able to live with them. Leave the crazy people alone, okay? Otherwise, they will just drive you crazy. So, pick somebody who's stable, that you can live with, and that brings out the best of you, the best part of you. Just brings out who you are on the inside, the best of you. And that's why you love that other person, because they bring the best out of you. And so, anyway, this here, I think we would consider this. I went to Drew out in New Jersey. We would consider this almost sexist, and this is very cultural. I would not have a problem. I don't have a problem with people getting remarried. Get divorced. There's a reason why you get divorced. You kind of wander away from each other. You just don't have things in common with each other anymore. There's reasons why people get divorced. After a while you kind of hear it all, and it just blends in with the same noise. But I have had a lot of young couples or older people just decide not to get married because of the government. The government cutting them off a third of their income. And they decide they can't afford to get married. So they just live together. Which I don't think is good. It gets into inheritance issues of if one has a house and the other one of them has his name on the house, and then he dies, and then he has this woman who's living with him who gets kicked out of the house by his kids from a former marriage. You see a lot of that. And you end up with this widow down at, a homeless shelter, and you say, well, why are you here? And they just say, because my husband died. And you say, well, we don't understand. And they said that my husband died and my name was not on, the deed, and my husband's children from his first marriage kicked me out of my home. That's why old people should get married. It's protective. And then also if they have children, young people with children, of course they should get married because of a number of reasons. You got the kids, and then you sign them up for, to go to school, and the principal or behind the desk will ask, and you say, well, we just never saw the purpose of just getting married. You meet people like that. And they just, they love each other. They've been together for 100 years. They can't see the purpose of getting married. And that's why. It's because of those kids. So you have kind of a blended family, but with different last names. It's best just to get married for the sake of the kids. It keeps people from raising their eyebrows too much. Some people in school systems and doctor's offices, and you wouldn't expect that in a doctor's office today, they could be really prudish. Really prudish. And avoiding problems, best to get married. Inheritance issues. You both own property together. Or let's say your wife owns all the property and she has the kids, and then you move in with her. And if you don't get married, then if she dies, you're living in your girlfriend's house, taking care of her kids. Okay, not a good thing. The family will move in, move you out. It's really, really best to get married. It's inheritance issues. It makes things much smoother. I encourage marriage. I really, really do. Old couples, young couples. If you want to be a couple, then be a couple and have the same last name. Get married. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.